Okay. Good morning, y'all. We've got a lot to share with y'all today, so we'll go ahead and get started. I hope y'all are having a good week and a good July. I'm Cherie Bennett. I'm the director for the Office of Downtown Development. So welcome to Coffee and Conversations this week. And the rest of the team is also on the call. So if you would introduce yourself, starting with Ebony.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ebony Simpson, and I am the Strategic Planning Coordinator for the office.
And Elizabeth.
My name is Elizabeth Elliott. I'm the Downtown Preservation Planner for the office.
And Miss Allen.
Good morning, everybody. Ellen Hill, planning. God, I can't even remember my title today, y'all. Gosh, it's been a week. Main Street Compliance and Training Coordinator. That's me.
Main Street Queen. And you've got some items to share with us.
Yeah, so speaking of training, I just want to remind everybody that we do have an in-person Main Street 101 coming up. We're going to be hosting that during that first training day at the Georgia Downtown Conference. So if you are a new manager or you have new board members or you just want to have a refresher on Main Street 101, definitely sign that up. You can sign up for that class when you're signing up for the Georgia Downtown Conference. That's the option there. And then also, we have Mobilize Main Street. There's still some spots available for that. Excuse me. October 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're going to be hosting in Perry, Thomaston, and Americus, and it's gonna be a wonderful time. So I highly encourage everybody to look at that and get signed up for it. It's gonna be super fun. So.
All right. And speaking of the GDA conference, Nicole Parham will be talking to us next month at Coffee and Conversations to just give us a welcome to Gainesville the week before the conference and to tell us, just give us a little sneak peek on what to expect and fun places to hang out in Gainesville while we're there. Also, speaking of GDA, Andy, are you on the call?
Renee? Good morning.
Oh,
I'm here.
There's Andy.
Sorry,
Hey.
I couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. We are going to be hearing obviously from Nicole, so I won't go into too many details about conference, but just know that it's all hands on deck right now for the Gainesville team and the conference committee, planning all of the last minute details. So go ahead and register for conference if you haven't already. It's August 25th through the 28th in downtown Gainesville, and don't forget to book your hotel if you have not. A couple of important dates to remember. Tomorrow is the deadline for RFPs. So if you want to bid on hosting the GDA conference in your town for the year 2027, make sure to have that in tomorrow. And then silent auction forms are due by August 8th. So if you would like to submit something for the silent auction, that is our fundraiser every year for the Adam Edge Scholarship Program that we're able to send many of you to the conference, the GDA conference, and the National Main Street Conference. So if you need some extra training dollars, that of course is available to you. But we would love for you all to submit baskets that we can all bid on. It's one of my favorite parts of the conference. So we are really excited about that.
Thank you. And then do we have any DCA regional reps on the line? I think I saw Kelly's on.
Hey, good morning. I'm Kelly Lane. I'm the regional rep for DCA in Region 11, which is South Central Georgia.
Good to see you, Kelly. And Kathy?
Yep. Good morning, everybody. My name's Kathy Papa. I'm the Region 2 rep in Gainesville. Looking forward to next month.
And Heather?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Heather Sharp. I'm the regional representative in Region 10, which is Southwest Georgia.
Hey, Heather, good to see you. Got your haircut. Any other DCA regional reps on the line?
Hey, this is Beth Evanson, Region 5, Northeast Georgia.
Thanks for joining us. All right. Well, to kick us off today, Abigail and Jasmine and Taylor have agreed to share with us some projects that they have going on in their downtowns that they talked to us about and presented to us during assessments. And we thought they were some cool things that we wanted to share with the rest of the group. So I will just go ahead and turn it over to Abigail from Newnan first to talk about her project.
Thanks, Sherry. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Give me just 1 second. And as Sherry said, I'm Abigail Strickland. I'm the Main Street Manager for the City of Newnan. And one of the projects that we discussed during our annual assessment is a new building history tour that we started. So we'll just go ahead and go through the slides and tell you a little bit more. So what is the building history tour? An interactive self-guided walking tour of historic downtown Newnan buildings. You can scan the QR code to access a website that leads to the history of the building as well as business details. And each code is dedicated to a dedicated web page showing the business and that. So the project goals for that was, of course, to promote heritage tourism and community pride, increase pedestrian activity downtown, and engage both residents and visitors with local history. Offer accessible and flexible exploration with no schedule or app needed. So you also don't need anybody to walk you through this tour. It's completely self-guided. So the best part about this is this was the cheapest thing that we have done. So far, we have only spent about $730 on the plaques themselves. They, depending on how many you order, sometimes when you order them in batches, they come out cheaper, but generally they do, they're about $30 a piece or so. But we have paid for those through our DDA budget, but then we were actually reimbursed by our DMO, which is Explore Newnan Coweta, because they have a tourism grant. So we have actually spent, in reality, out of our budget, we've spent $0. But then, however, the city did provide us with a summer intern in 2024. And so that was a paid intern. Of course, that came out of the city's general fund budget. So unfortunately, I don't have the details on that, how much that costs, but that is one of the other places that we received funds for. So, of course, the process was pretty easy. We required the businesses or the property owners to register. We just filled out a form and made sure that they wanted to participate in this program. And then also by providing if they had any history details that they already had. After that, we reached out to them. We had searched their historic data and narratives. We added all the information to the website. We designed and purchased the QR codes and installed the plaques in a visible pedestrian-friendly location. And then we started launching social media campaigns on these available walking tour.
Abigail, we can't hear the audio.
So, of course, right now we only have 30 plaques. We've received, of course, a ton of positive feedback from tourism and locals alike. We've seen an increase in dwell time and foot traffic in the downtown district. And then, of course, it's an extra marketing tool for the businesses that do choose to participate. This video alone on our social medias has received almost 100,000 views. 3,500 interactions and 250 plus comments. So we actually used this video to kick off National Historic Preservation Month in May. And then, so what's next is, of course, we have 30 done so far, and we want to do hundreds more. We have many more buildings to participate. So of course, our biggest goal is to continue expanding this tour. We actually met with the University of West Georgia's history program this past week, and we will likely be working with them to handle all of the research. We simply just don't have the bandwidth to do so here in-house on our own. If we did, it would take us a really long time to get this program up and going. But they're very excited, and we're looking to host a research student or some interns coming soon. And then, of course, we do plan to add any kind of video or audio features to these as well. And that's all I have. So, I mean, I'm willing to take questions, or Sheree, if you want to wait till the end, I don't know how you want to handle that.
No, I think we can go ahead and ask questions now. Does anybody have questions for Abigail about this project? Love that you're going to be able to tap into the university and get some students to help with this.
I don't have a question. This is Cassidy on Tybee. I just want to tell you that we really like that idea, or I do. So great job.
Thanks, Cassidy. It's a super one, and the reason why it really started is our board chair. He was like, I'm sitting in my business all day talking with people because people want to know what used to be here before he was there. And so he's like, I do this all the time. So why don't we just go ahead and figure out a way to get these stories out there so that they're there? And so he was really kind of the main cheerleader for this project, and has continued to do so. He was also in several buildings, so it was easy to start with us.
Abigail, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I like too, because this is like a learning for me, is that you knew you had over 100 that could be explored and stories told, but you started incrementally and said, like, here's 30, and at least that puts us out there. And I think that's like knowledge for us all, is like, you don't have to have like this full completed project. You can show progression along the way. And because with us being OCD a lot in our world, is that, you know, we feel like we needed to have it like all buttoned up and completed, which could take years. And the fact that you were able to take that incremental approach is a learning curve, I think, for all of us. So great job.
Thanks, April.
Great point. Pauline, you got something?
I did. Good morning, y'all. Thank you, Abigail, for sharing that. So were you able to use your interns and volunteers to kind of verify the history behind the buildings, or whichever ones you focused on first? Like, was that a part of it? Was like, let's make sure that this is as correct as we know it is?
Yeah. And that's, of course, you know, it's really hard with history. It's kind of people's perception of how things went and how things went. So we have a lot of local historians here in the area that have their opinions on history. And so, yes, they have been researched. They have sources and things of that nature. So the intern, that's what they did during their summer internship. It was simply just researching every single property and providing those. So we actually had one business owner who's the family's been in the business has been in her family for, since creation. And she was like, I promise you, it was never in this other location. Like, I know, like, this has been in my family. And we're like, look at these documents. Like, it's clearly here at this other location before. And she's like, I promise you, it wasn't. I'm like, well, who's right here? Because we have actual documentation showing that it was. So some of those things have been fun to learn. You definitely seen some interesting cases. We have seen people that had bathhouses in their basements and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see what all was here.
When they pull up the QR code, it tells them the current businesses that it's in there and the current owner, I guess a little bit of information about that. But it also gives the history and historic photographs too, right?
Yes,
Y'all incorporated those in as well.
Any photos that we do have, there are on there as well. Yeah.
Hey, Abigail, where do you guys house that QR code link? Where's that? Is it under your city?
Yeah, so it's on our Main Street website page. So we actually recently, this past year, have contracted with Brighter Travel for our online directory. And so we're moving to our building history tour to be a tour that's on our directory as well. So that's one thing that we're having to do right now is transition those QR codes to a new link, but they all go to a dedicated web page on our website.
Gotcha.
I think Wendy has a question too.
Yeah, and my question, you may have just kind of clarified it, but when that QR code is just the same QR code on all of those, or is it a specific QR code for that one building?
It is specific for that building. So the QR codes will show, they don't have the business name on the QR code. What it has is it has the address. And so with that address, the QR code goes there because if a business does go out of business, we can of course add that to the history, but we don't want it to be trapped with that particular business. So it is by address and the website's dedicated to that address.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abigail.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have Jasmine Jackson from Lawrenceville to talk about the kiosks that she has incorporated into her downtown.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Thumbs up, cool. So yes, we here in Lawrenceville, one thing that we really wanted to invest in was just bringing our city into the digital age. We're 200 plus years old, and there's a lot of things that we're still doing way back, when. So we really thought that it'd be really beneficial to be able to really invest in some digital kiosks that allow for us to just keep up with things that are going on in our community, also sharing information in real time. But then also, like I mentioned, just saving us some costs from a lot of print materials that typically go out of date after you print them. And so we invested in digital kiosk in our downtown. And once again, I'm Jasmine Jackson, Main Street Manager for the City of Lawrenceville, but I also serve as the Community and Economic Development Director. Okay. So this is all managed by our city's communications department. This was a capital project that we worked with our communications department on building out for about $98,000. They're similar to the screens at McDonald's. They're not touchscreen, but they are double-sided. We've really looked at placing them around our downtown strategically. And we used to have these signs in our downtown that we had to print, and they continued to say that we had a visitor center, even though we haven't had a visitor center in the last 10 years. So we really wanted to bring something that, we could just update in real time. So as people are walking around, it's very vibrant. There's colorfulness to it. We can also put videos on there. And so you're actively seeing what's happening in the community in real time. And we really wanted to invest in something like that. So through this capital project, like I said, we placed them around downtown strategically with some future expansions in the near future in our Depot District and Lawrenceville Lawn. That those two areas sit like one block of our downtown. So right now we have 5 in our downtown strategically placed. So we have one over there off of North Perry. That's in like an alleyway area. It gets a lot of pictures during the holidays because people love the string lights. And so why not put something there that we can just activate? We also have them around our courthouse. Even though it's owned by Gwinnett County, a lot of people do frequent that green space. And so really wanted to make sure that we had some strategically placed screens there as well. And then across from our parking deck, we realized that there's a lot of foot traffic along our downtown, just using Placer AI, just getting that data. And so we felt like having something that, as you're walking from the parking deck, you'd be able to see what's happening, whether that's an event or youth programming, different things of that nature. We're also looking at programming some things at the lawn, like I mentioned, just because we have most of our events are at the lawn as well. So we use Yodec, which is it's a cloud-based software. It's very user-friendly, from my understanding. When we were actually looking into developing this and building this out, our director of communications had this huge screen in her office and would sit there and play with it on the floor just to make sure that she could program it, from anywhere. So she's able to program it from her office. We're able to create graphics, and we're able to also sell it as like a sponsorship opportunity through events too. So it saves us a lot of time and money. Realistically, even though it was a really big upfront cost, it saved us a lot of cost on the back end as well. So we use it for a couple of things, really just for it's like I mentioned, double-sided, but on the one side, there's youth arts, like our Hudgens Center, they have a SMART program. We have a School of the Arts here in our downtown, or near our downtown with Central Gwinnett High School. So we're actively engaging the youth. And I think what's been really nice about that is, you know, as students are walking by, they can see their artwork displayed or just see their creation displayed. And that just, you know, builds more community. And so we've really seen like the growth in just how our youth are activating and just actively coming into downtown. When I started about 8 years ago, we really didn't have a lot of youth coming downtown. They didn't really know much about what was happening or volunteering. It was really hard to get a lot of our youth to volunteer. And now we have a really great, you know, robust volunteer program. But I think this has also helped along the way with those students who, you know, they just have ideas and they really want to be a part of just the art scene here in Lawrenceville. And so being able to give them this platform has been really great to see them, just their visions come alive. And then on the second side, we do more of our tourism messaging. So we're allowed to put QR codes up there for people to scan to like go to our DTL website to learn more. We're doing a wayfinding project for parking. So we have over 1,200 spaces in our downtown, but people seem to not know where the free parking is. So having our GIS map up there and our parking maps up there, it's been really helpful, and it'll tie into our wayfinding as well. So all of this is, you know, strategically placed to really make sure that it's tying into like the bigger scheme of just being more in that digital age that we're looking to. We also host things like our events on there. If there's a dining special or a shopping special, say we create a graphic that's like a marketing special for our downtown businesses, we're able to put that up there as well. And then when we're also doing sponsorship, I do reach out to our sponsors and let them know that, hey, we have, you know, from Placer over 1.6 million people coming through our downtown in the year. They're all going to see your logo on this kiosk, and that's a selling point for them, you know? And so that's been really helpful as well. Some benefits that we've seen, we used to purchase a lot of sandwich boards. We still do, just because we don't have these screens everywhere, but we've cut back on the amount of print materials that we've had to print out for the square, because we're able to have these. And if my team is, you know, changing a time for something, we're able to just update that graphic and put that on the kiosk in real time versus having to reprint something or, you know, waiting for other things to occur but for us to put that on there. So it's been very beneficial. We've had these for the last, I want to say 2 years now, maybe 1.5 years. And I think our communication department, they love them, but they're also a lot of work, just to be transparent. And so, you know, making sure that we have a policy in place, because we do get a lot of businesses who, our sponsorship recognition is more of a thank you to our sponsors. It's not necessarily like we're selling ads. And we do have a lot of businesses that reach out to see if they can have ads also on there. So we've developed a policy over time that just makes sure that, you know, we're all on the same page about what the mission and goal is of the kiosk. And with us operating the Lawrenceville Arts Center now, that's coming about. So we'll get more into that another time. But we now have a Jumbotron that sits out along North Clayton Street. So all of those digital kiosk or digital boards that we have, we're really trying to put that under one policy. And that is our digital kiosk. So happy to take questions.
Jasmine, what's the cost on these?
So we spent $98,000 for 5 of them. That included the programming as well. I can break that down into per, but
it's about 20 grand a piece.
Yeah, about 20. There we go. You're roughly. Yeah. I'm not good at math.
Hi,
yeah, about
Jasmine.
20,000.
Hi, Jasmine. This is Ginger. I do have a question. So did you say that the businesses call you and they ask for ads? Do they pay for the ads?
So we do not allow ads. So they would love to pay for them. We have a sponsorship packet that we let our businesses know this is what you would get. And our thank you to our sponsors graphic is really just thank you to our sponsors with everybody's logo on there. We have businesses right now that are calling and asking if they can buy ad space on the kiosk, and we haven't developed that out yet. So we don't allow ads at this time.
Okay.
It would be a great revenue generator though. So I'm trying to like figure out how we can do that. So if you guys have ideas, would love to hear that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Jasmine?
Perfect.
All right.
Oh, wait, I
Thank
do have one more question. I'm sorry, Sherry.
Yeah,
One more question.
Yes, Ginger.
We were talking about doing this in College Park, but we were interviewing other people, then it got put to the side. I saw this downtown and I love the idea because it's something that's digital that people can click on, like you said, and walk around. Because right now we have this brochure for restaurants. And
Yeah.
I told my board members, I said, this is out of date. It needs to be updated. We have 7 restaurants on this brochure that are no longer in College Park. And so I told them that the digital screen would be, so much nicer and, up to date for the future. So I may be calling you, Jasmine, for
Please.
some information.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
would love that. And you don't have to, like, we did a lot, our communications team did a lot of research. I think they landed on this one because it was just easily programmable. And it had a lot of, like, there's video, we could play videos on there, right? That actually have sound. So there was a lot of features that they liked on there, but you don't have to get anything there's other ones that I've seen in Atlanta that are a little bit smaller than ours. We have to retrofit ours into ones that we already had in place. That are the touchscreen ones that have more functionality too. So yeah, there's a lot of cities that I believe have them, but what's been really working for us is that the graphics that we put out there and the student artwork that we have on the other side, people are actively engaging with those as they are walking around. We even do things like mental health awareness messages. We have a recast grant, so we put there are certain things that we have to do in order to hit our goals, but just things that are passive, even like making sure that people are having a good day, like have a great day on a happy Tuesday in Lawrenceville, like super basic, but just very much hitting all of the people that are walking around our downtown. So happy to answer more questions for you, Ginger.
Can I get your phone number?
You sure can. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jasmine. And I think Abigail and Jasmine and Taylor will be more than happy for y'all to call them and get more information if you need it. All right, well, we will move on to Taylor's presentation, and let me pull that up.
I'm not prepared like the lady, so I have Cherie's going to do my presentation for me, guys. Thank you, Cherie.
Okay, can you see my screen?
I don't think there's ever been a situation where you haven't been prepared, Taylor.
Slacker.
You were born ready. Like, don't.
I cannot see your screen, Cherie.
Okay. Let's try that again. How about now?
Yes.
Yay.
Beautiful. Good morning, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Taylor Smith, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the city of Thomaston, Georgia. And welcome to beautiful downtown Thomaston, circa 1940-ish, late 1930s, early 1940s. Look at these super cool Coke murals that we have throughout downtown Thomaston. So at one time, Thomaston had both a Coke bottle plant manufacturing facility and an RC Cola bottle plant manufacturing facility. So when I came back home in 2021 and took this job, I love the idea of ghost murals. We have an archives in our community that's supported by both the city and the county, and our archivist, Jameson, sits on my Historic Preservation Commission. So I asked her to try to pull historic photographs of downtown Thomaston that showed murals from the past. And so this is one picture of a historic mural in downtown Thomaston. And so what we did was this mural, the Coke mural that's on the side of this Duke studio, today that is Slice's Pizzeria. And so this project was not a grand project. Cherie, if you want to go to the next page, we actually worked with the University of Georgia, Color the World Bright, and we had them come in and paint this mural, and the cost was shared between the property owner and the city of Thomaston. So the cost of the mural was only $8,500. As you can see, this mural, it runs the entire length of the building. And as you're coming in on Highway 74 from LaGrange, Newnan area, this is the first thing you see coming into downtown Thomaston. The historical portion of it, obviously, is the drink Coca-Cola with the little lady there. But then the downtown Thomaston piece, we just asked the UGA group if they'd be willing to add that, just to give it a little unique flair for Thomaston. And so they did. And again, we did that project for $8,500.
Are you on?
The cost was split evenly between between the property owner and the city. If you go to the next one, Cherie, this is an RC Cola mural. Marvin Cooks was a grocery store in our community. Personal note, my grandmother worked at Cook's Grocery when I was growing up for about 20 years. So when I was growing up, I stayed with my grandma after school, and I would get dropped off by the bus in the Cook's Market parking lot, which is located directly across from City Hall. So it just goes to tell the story of downtown and my personal connection to downtown. This RC Cola mural was on the original Cook's building. That building has been retrofitted over the past 2 decades, and so the front facing that you're seeing now is now just windows, and the front of the building is where the Coke mural is, or where the Coke mural is. That's the front of the building, and it's now no longer a grocery store. It's a gas station, and it has 2 other suites in it. So there's a portion of this building where we were hoping to paint this mural again with the idea of we want to recreate the mural on the building where the mural was once at. That didn't work out. We had some trouble getting easements from the property owner. That's always a challenge when you're trying to do murals in your community. In the city of Thomaston, if we're going to paint on your building, we do require an easement that has a 20-year maintenance period as well. So we're going to pay for the mural, and then we're also going to maintain that mural for the next 20 years. And so couldn't get buy-in from this owner. And so if you go to the next picture, Cherie, we pivoted and we placed it on a different building it's on the same block, but it's just on the other side. Funny story behind this building: Marvin Cook's great granddaughter is now operating her interior design studio inside this building. So she had relocated to Thomaston in 2020 because of COVID with her interior design studio. And again, it's just a crazy, unique story about someone, a young millennial professional coming back to rural Georgia, and then the personal connection that you have by coming to a town like Thomaston. So this was done again in partnership with Color the World Bright. Big proponent of using the UGA student-led group. My biggest reason behind that is because it's a third of the cost. Our biggest mural that we're about to do today, and I'll show you at the end of this, that mural would cost us 6 figures, and it's going to cost half that. So this mural was done for $5,600. And we applied and were granted a Vibrant Communities grant through the Georgia Council of the Arts. And so that grant covered $4,200 of that $5,600 cost. So we were out of pocket $1,400 to do this ghost mural restoration. And then if you go to the next one, we had received $8,400 total from the Vibrant Communities grants. We had another RC Cola mural that I wanted to do, but again, had some easement issues with the property owner in downtown, and so we weren't able to do that. And so we pivoted. We pivoted to Flint Rose Studio, which is an art studio in downtown, and worked with her. She hosted a summer art camp. And so they did a mural on the back of her building with her students that participated in the summer art camp, painting the mural. And again, that mural cost $5,600. We covered $1,400 of the cost with the Vibrant Communities grant, covering the other $4,200. And I think there's a final picture of that one on the next slide, Cherie. That's the after. And I believe the name of the mural was "Bloom Where You're Planted," with the idea of you can bloom even in rural Georgia like Thomaston. And then finally, our next mural, which is going to be a beast. So we are currently celebrating the bicentennial of Thomaston Upson, 200-year founding of our community. And so as part of this, we've been working on a bicentennial mural now for well over a year. The building that you're looking at is the former Boswick's Furniture Building. Boswick's was a furniture store in downtown Thomaston for 60 years. They were known as the store with 10 floors of furniture. It's currently operating as an event center, and there is a city-owned parking lot that is right beside it. We have actually just had to pivot to this wall because the wall that I had been working on and the property owners I'd been working with for well over a year decided that they didn't want to do the easement. Again, the challenge with murals is working with those property owners and the easements, particularly that 20-year maintenance period, because within that, we're maintaining this for 20 years. You also cannot alter your building for the next 20 years because we own this property. And so that property owner had expressed they wanted to make some modifications to the exterior of their building that would have impinged upon the mural. And so we decided at the last minute, let's pivot. And it's worked out. So the only request from the property owner for this was for us to add a sign to the to her building. So the event center is called 5 Tower Events. Right now, it really just has window signage. So worked with UGA students to get that mural added at the top for an additional $800. So for this, so far, I have raised $25,000. 10,000 of that coming from Flint Energies. They have a rural mural program that we applied for and we received. Upson EMC's foundation, that's our local EMC. They matched that $10,000. So we got $20,000 from EMC's, and then our bicentennial committee. So the bicentennial committee is the group that's been working for the bicentennial the last year. They're actually going to be giving $5,000 towards the mural as well. So this project is, we've raised $25,000. A professional artist to come in and do this mural, it would cost, again, well over 6 figures. This is going to be done for $46,000. Just under $50,000, with 25 of that being covered in fundraising. So the city should only be out of pocket of about $20,000 or so dollars. And for us, it tells the story of our community. It features some really incredible people that came from our community. It'll be a great new entrance into downtown Thomaston. So we're going to coming into downtown on Highway 19 South. This is the first thing you'll see, and then we're going to have a plaque on the wall that recognizes our sponsors and the people that help make this possible, as well as a QR code link that's going to actually take you to a page that talks about the story and tells you who Martha Penniman, the Olympic gold medalist, is that came from Thomaston, or who Hugh Frank Radcliffe is, or who Wayne Cochran is. If you don't know who Wayne Cochran is, that's the white James Brown, and he was the first white man to ever perform at the Apollo Theater in New York City, born and raised in Thomaston, Georgia. So you'll be able to learn about these individuals, learn about our history with the mills and the textile and just the community as a whole. So super, super excited about this event. But just want to say, when it comes to art, when it comes to murals, the way we look at it, there's no age, there's no creed, there's no race, there's no religion. Art is one of those unifiers that we can use to really try to bring our community together. And it's always great to bring beautiful works of art like this to our downtown. Questions?
No questions for Taylor? Did he answer everything? I'm just
Taylor
curious
was
about.
prepared, guys.
I was curious about the paint. So you have the 20-year easement. Is the paint guaranteed to stay the same color for 20 years, or do you plan to have a retouch at some point during that 20-year period?
So, it really depends on how much sun that wall is getting, right? The Coke mural gets way more sun because it faces the west. So in the afternoon, it is getting just budgeting with sun, versus the RC Cola mural gets much less because it sits on the other side of the building. We try to take that into consideration with the types of murals and where we're placing them, knowing that we are going to be that perpetual maintenance piece, and we're going to have to cover the cost of that. As of now, we haven't had those issues. So very short story real quick. So I actually, after my dad passed, I volunteered in the Main Street department when I was in high school, and I helped raise money for the first mural in downtown Thomaston, which is a big mural on the old English's Cafe wall. And so that was done in 2009. Here we are 16 years later, and that wall gets a ton of sun. And for the most part, it has maintained its consistency. The UGA group told me that they feel comfortable that even with the sun, 10 years at least, without any kind of touch up.
All right. Pauline, I think I saw your hand first.
Thanks. Thank you, Taylor.
Hey, Colleen.
So you spoke a bit about the grants and the fundraising you did, but also that the city has put in some money for this. So how does your city work with funding art? That's where I have a huge sticker for us.
Taylor goes and asks. I sell it, you know, and I'm very, very lucky, very, very blessed that I do have a supportive city council, a supportive city manager. You know, we've got that political buy-in. They see the impact of the murals and how it takes these old buildings that look like they're in disrepair and just brings new life into them. So, you know, and I'm not going to ask him for $1 million for the RC Cola mural, and the other, it was $2,400, right? Even for the bicentennial mural, it's $20,000, but it's the city's bicentennial. So when I was a part of that bicentennial exec committee, when we started doing our fundraising, I intentionally told that committee, do not go to the city. Don't ask the city for anything, because the city's portion is going to be this mural. That's what I'm going to guarantee. The city's going to cover this. So, you know, it's just, you've got to have that council member. You've got to have that board member that'll support you, that'll push that. Right now I do, you know, and that could change, you know, elections can change everything. But right now I do. And so I go to my city manager and tell him, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z. And he said, okay, roll with it. Cause he knows, you know, we pay a professional artist, it's going to be triple. And I'm like, we're using the UGA group again. He's seen the work. He knows what to expect, and he supports it.
Well, and you were also able to get the Arts Council grant and a Flint Energies grant, so that helps you sell it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I can say, hey, you know, it's a $50,000 mural, but we're only going to have to cover half the cost because I've gone out and I've gotten $25,000 additional funding, it makes it a much easier sell on my side.
Yeah. Alicia?
Hey there. One of my questions is, how do you combat, or did you have any pushback on the fact that you're painting historical buildings, even if it's a mural? We've seen some of that from city leadership, city council, other people that have been in the community for so long. Why are you going to put a mural on a historic building?
So the only buildings that we are painting have already been painted, meaning it may not be a mural on that wall, but the brick has been painted before. So if it is a mural going on an unpainted brick wall, HPC is not approving that, right? And even though it's a city-led project, I still make all of our mural projects go through the COA process, just for transparency purpose. So that way, any of our citizens know that the city's going through the same process that we expect our private property owners and business owners in downtown. So the response is, look, we're painting previously painted brick. If the integrity of the brick is damaged, it's because it's already been damaged. Versus if it's brick that's never been painted, we're not doing that. We're not going to allow that.
Yeah, we have an extensive mural permit process as well, which we're going to follow. But still, before I can even get to that point, the pushback that I'm receiving is, we don't paint historic buildings, or we don't want to jeopardize the integrity of it. So that's just an ongoing discussion that we're having.
I think one of the things that we did to combat that was the idea of painting the ghost murals. Right. So this isn't a mural that's a brand new addition. We're taking a mural that was on this building in 1942, and we are repainting it on this building in 2022. Right. So it's not like we're coming in with something new. We're trying to bring back and pay homage to the history of our community through art.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Sally?
I'm curious to know how the easements work. So do you pay the property owner money?
$1. Legally,
$1?
we have to have something in there. So we say $1, and that gives us, again, the rights, 20-year maintenance rights to paint on your building, and then to maintain the mural on your building.
Okay.
Thanks. I wanted to know, Taylor, do you show a rendering of the mural before they say yes?
Absolutely. So like the bicentennial mural, obviously that one is much more than the previous murals that we've done, right? And so we had bicentennial committee meetings for the past year. The mural was discussed. We talked about who we want to highlight, what are the people, the places, the things we want to highlight. And so over the course of the year, we worked with UGA to put together that mural, and that's how we finally got to this point. But again, just like any other project in downtown, if it's in our historic district, it's going to go before our local historic preservation commission, which is a group that I oversee, and it's going to get a COA just like any other historic property in our downtown.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Abigail, Jasmine, and Taylor. I really appreciate y'all being willing to take the time to share these successes that y'all have had in your downtown. And now, one of our staff members has a big announcement, so I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth.
Hey everyone, it's so good to see everybody. I'm really glad I am on the call today. Sorry, I'm letting somebody in. I just wanted to let you know that I am leaving DCA and the Office of Downtown Development. My last day will be next week, next Wednesday, the 23rd. Or no, lies. Is it the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd. Yes, it is. It has been truly an honor and a pleasure. I was wondering if I was going to cry. I'm feeling it happening. So I'm sorry, guys. You know me. It really has been an honor and a pleasure to work with y'all and be part of y'all's process in your communities. I will honor and treasure the time of mine being a local manager and getting to know a lot of you from way back when, almost 10 years ago, and then working with so many of y'all directly in the capacity of the office for almost 7 years. To witness so many of you come in and grow and the impact you've had on your cities will stick with me forever. I love this work. This is the most common question I get is what am I doing? I'm actually taking a year off to explore possibly a new career route and also to travel. But I love this work. I want to still stay plugged in. I have been joking that I'm passing out my personal information like candy. So if you would like my personal details to stay in touch, please, please, please reach out. I would love to share it with you. Don't be strangers. I still would love to be a resource if you'll have me, because this is farewell, not goodbye, hopefully. Again, I'm so grateful and have learned so much from every single one of you. And everything will stick with me for the rest of my life. And I know I'll look back on this time serving y'all as kind of like the most magical time of my life, just because y'all have just impacted me more than you know. So keep doing all the wonderful work that you're doing. And if you ever need anything, reach out. I still would love to hear how everything's going. And yeah, I didn't really prepare anything formal. This is very off the cuff, but yeah, thank y'all for letting me serve you. Hopefully I was able to give some value to you at some point in the last 7 years. And yeah, and it's been my pleasure.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And people have dropped some really sweet things for you to read in the chat, so please don't miss those.
Oh, thank you.
You will be missed. You will be missed greatly. Also, just moving on from that, if you haven't had a chance to fill out the survey that I emailed out, please do that. We'd greatly appreciate your feedback. That's just going to help really shape the future of what Office of Downtown Development is doing. So let us know what you think. Give us some of your good suggestions. Y'all are the ones that are in the trenches doing this every day. So please take the time to let us know how best we can help y'all. Also wanted to let you know that we have been doing our newsletter on a weekly basis, and we are going to switch that to bi-monthly. So every other week we'll be doing the newsletter. So just wanted to let y'all know of that change. And then do y'all have any questions or issues that y'all need to talk about with us? Anything come up lately?
I do have a question, Sherry.
Okay.
I had asked a few people here at the City of College Park, but no one knew the answer. So I said, I'll go to my coffee conversation and ask them. You know how we have the hotel motel taxes?
Hmm?
How does that work? Is that involved with our board at all? Do you know?
No, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah, the hotel and motel tax is going to go to your tourism organization, like your Convention and Visitors Bureau. So they're going to
Okay.
get that money.
Okay.
Sheree, I would suggest too on the Main Street's YouTube page for Ginger, there's a class on that because it can be really convoluted and confusing.
Absolutely.
Different percentages of a penny go different places. So if you don't know anything about it, check that out, because I think that would be really helpful to start knowing how it works.
Thanks, Carly.
What
Great
site, Carly?
suggestion. I can send you the link, Ginger, but we had help me out, guys, with his name. It's not Jackson.
Jack Brock.
Jack Brock did a session on that for us, Ginger, and we have it on our website, but I can send you the link so you can listen to his presentation again on hotel motel taxes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Carly and Sherry.
Yes, Colleen.
This is for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you were the first person to come see me and to give me what I needed. I did not have a clue what I was doing, and I still feel that way, but I'm a little bit farther along than I was. So I just want to thank you for all the encouragement and advice and fun rooftop talks we've had over the past 3 years. And I do expect for there to be some amazing photos on Instagram, on your Instagram as you travel, and you will be very missed. I feel like that you are the historic preservation queen. I don't know where to go now. So just know that you are very appreciated and you'll be very missed, but I'm excited about what is in store for you. It'll be fun to watch your journey.
Thank
So,
you, Colleen.
love
It means the
you.
world. Love you.
I think that's not very millennial of me, but I'm Gen X, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen, for those sweet words.
Thank you.
And Kendra?
Elizabeth, I did drop my message in the chat, but I said the city of Hampton and the Bull, our art in unusual places. We want to thank you for everything historic preservation wise, but just thank you for your service to our community.
My pleasure.
Anybody else?
Yes. Hi, this is Sylvia from the city of Fairburn. Elizabeth, you're amazing. Again, like many of the communities, you were one of the first people that came out to help us when we were bare minimum. We were startup, and I appreciate all of your efforts, the energy, you sharing your personal stories, being the person that we could call during our challenging times as well as our successes. So again, our best wishes for you. I know you're going to be tremendous. I ditto everyone else's sentiments, and thank you for all that you've done and all you'll continue to do.
Thank you, Sylvia. And I'm just down the road, so I'll still pop up and say hi.
Perfect.
Thank you, everybody, for your sweet messages. Definitely bittersweet. I'm going to miss y'all very, very much. But I know that y'all are going to continue to do amazing things across the state, and I'm constantly in awe of you. And now I'll be a little bit removed, but I still will just watch on with admiration for everything that you accomplish. So keep up the good work.
The feelings are mutual.
With that, we will let you go. But if anybody has any other questions or want to discuss anything more with the team, we will stay on for a little while.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Thomasville wants to introduce their new person, Katie.
Yes, please.
Okay, I will let Katie introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Katie Ketchum, and I'm the new Main Street Director. I apologize, my voice is a little hoarse, but I'm really excited to take on this opportunity and just hearing from everyone. Honored to be in a group that loves their communities and loves Georgia. A little bit of background about myself is I have over 20 years of marketing experience, and then also hospitality and tourism, and then also historic preservation, working at a construction firm as well. And then the last 12 years I spent at a nonprofit with the YMCA in our local downtown area, and also doing events with the downtown Christmas parade for the city of Thomasville. So been in relations with and partnerships with April and downtown. And I'm excited to be on this side and excited to come meet everybody at a conference as well.
So those of you who are on Mobilize Main Street or taking Main Street 101 or joining us at conference, Katie will be joining in with all of you. So lock arms with her.
Welcome aboard, Katie. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and we will see y'all soon.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Hi, Ginger.